when you actually get to your plan and your ultimate dream job and your ultimate destination, sometimes it's not everything that you'd hoped for.
True.
Who are these people who are waking up at 5 p.m. and giving more work? I want to go home. Never ends there. I wouldn't have to worry about anything.
Anything?
I'd be a crorepati by now.
सुन लो सब करो.
Her dad was not happy.
Okay.
Yeah. He was like, Instagram से पैसा कौन बनाता है?
हम दिखाएंगे.
You can pretend to be happy, you can pretend to have friends, you can pretend to be a show off, but you cannot pretend to have money. Either you have money or you don't.
Or you don't have it.
It's money, na? It's never enough. You will always want more.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Dhairya Decodes Podcast, and in today's episode we are going to be joined by a very, very, very dear friend and the founder of FinCocktail, Sayali Rai, and she is also a very famous content creator on Instagram. You would have seen her on your reels. She is also an investor, and via her initiative of FinCocktail, she's been striving hard with all her energy and capacity with her co-founder Niyati to be able to make you all financially literate, and she's very passionate about making people more aware about managing their wealth better, investing in the right places, and so that you all can make more money. So in today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into a conversation to understand more about Sayali's life, what her journey has been like, how you could do something similar to what she has been doing, and what does it take to become a finance content creator in 2024. So without any further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Dhairya Decodes Podcast.
Thank you so much, darling. Thank you.
Yes. So I think, Sayali, while I obviously told them a lot about you already, why don't we start with you introducing yourself the way you would want to, beyond the tags that I've already used. If you were to just introduce who Sayali is.
It's difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because so many, we start identifying ourselves with these tags now.
Correct.
And whenever you first ask people that, acha, who are you? We don't ask who you are.
Correct.
We ask, what do you do?
Yeah.
So stripping away my tags, that's going to be difficult. But I'm going to give it a shot. I am Sayali. I was born in Nagpur to a Maharashtrian family, and I've been brought up in Mumbai. I actually traveled on my first flight when I was 1 month old.
Oh, wow.
Weird thing to...
Quite early.
Very early.
Very
Since
early.
then, I've been flying high.
That I can vouch for. Yes.
So brought up in Mumbai, always stayed here, went to a very interesting high school actually. I went to the Dhirubhai Ambani International School.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
DIS?
Yes, DIS. And made a few very, very dear friends. We were one of the first batches to sort of graduate from there.
Nice.
After that, so my parents come from very highly educated backgrounds. My mother is an ICWA and a CS. My father is a CA, CPA, LLB, all of that. And and then so obviously the pressure was on. Padhai karni hai. So I went ahead and went to NYU to do my bachelor's degree in finance and marketing, because at that point I had no idea ki kya karna hai. Because I was like, there's some people who know from the get-go what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I was like a fish lost in the sea. I'm like, ye bhi kar sakta hai, wo bhi kar sakta hai, kuch bhi ho sakta hai. So I was like, let's keep our options open. So I did my bachelor's in finance and marketing both.
Okay.
I was lucky enough to do that from NYU.
You did like a minor major kind of
No,
thing?
both majors. So,
Both majors?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
I had to dedicate that much extra time and credits. But so I worked through summer school and stuff like that. But yeah.
Interesting.
NYU Stern School of Business, bachelor's in finance and marketing. BSc, they don't give out BBAs. At least they didn't at that point.
At that time.
Yeah. So I have a BSc degree in that. Then came back, still didn't have any idea what to do. So tried to, figure out what I wanted to do. So I was like, you know what, the best way to understand what you want to do is to actually do it.
Right.
So I picked up lots of jobs. I also worked at Nykaa, interestingly enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
When the team
was
was
this?
very, very small. It was it was really early on, like 2014, I
Okay.
believe.
Maybe they just started on the onset.
Yeah. It was a very small team. It was just beginning to become what it is today. Just trying to find its own identity. It was even, I remember the logo also was different back then.
Acha. And what was your role, Uda?
My role, I was so cute. I was a digital marketing executive. I was very proud.
You were a digital marketing executive at Nykaa.
Yeah, because that was fancier than finance, to choose a path of like, digital marketing. When I was barely 18, 19, it was very fancy to do.
Nice.
So I was excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, we sort of worked through that. Then obviously that was one of the things that I did. I also worked at JP Morgan. I also worked at DBS. I worked at another digital marketing firm.
Okay.
Then I realized marketing finance में हम ना finance choose करेंगे क्योंकि ये थोड़ा समझ में आता है.
नहीं, I want to just prompt you थोड़ा.
Okay.
When you did so many of these interesting, I can't call them gigs, but jobs obviously at these firms. Now working at a JP Morgan versus a DBS versus a Nykaa, and the roles were different, I'm assuming.
Yes.
How did you, because this is a career podcast,
Yes.
what I want to understand from you is, there are many people like you, even today, who have, let's say, two things sorted in their head. Okay, I like marketing also, I like finance also,
Yeah.
but how did you choose that finance was the one?
So I did summer internships. So
Yeah.
the JP Morgan and DBS were summer internships. Then when I got a full-fledged job, it was the Nykaa job.
Okay.
Then from there I went to a digital marketing firm. And I realized that the internships taught me more and interested me more
Right.
than what my day-to-day job was at these two firms. And I think it was also about, I was constantly looking for the connection. Like even when you're a marketing executive, you also have tight budgets. You have to figure out your return on investment. You have to be answerable to the bosses because they're spending money on it.
Correct.
And that's my favorite quote in marketing. One of my professors used to say, when you give a marketing budget, you know that 50% of your marketing budget is used well and 50% is absolute crap. You just don't know which 50% it is. So obviously in this day and age of digital marketing, you have a lot more tied to it. You have performance marketing metrics. You have a lot more information now because of the sheer data that we get from people.
Correct.
But I realized that my inclination was always towards, how is this performing? Is this worth the money that we're putting in? How is this translating into, like, where we want to go in terms of the growth of the company or the sales of the company, etc. So I realized I was more data driven than anything else. Yes, of course, in marketing, you do have to be a certain level of data driven as a person.
Yeah.
But I think while doing that, I also, now this is going to be completely brutal.
Yeah,
but
please
boss, finally, you don't make enough money on that. In the beginning, absolutely not. It's true. It's true. And when you're deciding on a career option, it is important to see how much you are going to make as well. Because
money is important.
Yeah, and let's be honest, whoever is going to pretend and say that, oh, money is not important, I chose my career because it's only spoke to me. Yes, it can speak to you. Like, yes, I loved numbers, I loved the data, I loved the analysis. But that doesn't mean that was my only reason to choose finance.
Correct.
I knew that it would be a better lucrative opportunity after I did my MBA. I knew that I had to do my MBA also, not just because I wanted to. Yes, of course, I wanted to go into investment banking. That was my decision after doing all these gigs. But before I could be there, I knew that I had to get an MBA because in India, it's just a bachelor's degree, at least at that time, was essentially you are illegible for a lot of jobs. So I knew that I had to do my MBA, and doing my MBA had to be in one of these two fields. And I decided that it would be more lucrative to do a finance degree. And I can always consider doing a marketing job later on because I had it in my CV. But I knew that it would be finance for me all the way. And I saw myself doing that a little bit. I could picture it.
Got it. You had that vision.
Yeah.
I see myself doing this.
Exactly.
No, that's great. I love how I mean, this is something that I like, While I introduced you with whatever it is that you are and that shosha and those tags and okay, it's there. But this is who you are at the core and crux of everything. And I think What I want to now ask you is, after everything that's happened, now you did a BSc from NYU Stern, you went on to do your MBA from Babson College as well, right? And that is a very strong academic, solid academic foundation.
Thank you very much.
When somebody has such a strong academic foundation, and then and then you went on to become like an investment banking analyst of sorts at Citi.
Yes.
Right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So after all of this, and working at such prestigious brands, how did you have the courage to take up a creative career path such as content creation? Because I know it takes a lot, and you did start early on.
Yeah.
It's not something that you've just started recently. It's been 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
What, convinced you to take that step that I want to do this and I'll get into content creation?
So, like I said, at that time I could picture myself doing what I planned for. When you actually get there, this is not what a lot of people talk about, but when you actually get to your plan and your ultimate dream job and your ultimate destination, sometimes it's not everything that you'd hoped for.
True.
So when you're actually physically doing it, you have to constantly figure out whether that is something that you can keep doing in the future. Yes, it can be for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but after that, can you see yourself retiring with that? It is something that you have to take a conscious decision every day.
Correct.
Because if you're going down a trajectory, you have to be sure that you're going to be able to last, not just in terms of your work, like not just your credibility or your work ethic or in terms of your aptitude of being able to do the work, also your mental health, your family life. There's a lot that comes in. It's not we are humans.
Yeah.
We are not living in a bubble. We are not just living at work. We have to take in everything into account before making that decision.
True.
When I was working at Citi as an investment banker, it was great. It taught me, I think, nothing has prepped me more for this world than those 2 years. Because the level of efficiency that it has taught me to work at, the kind of pressure I have dealt with, nothing can, like I can take on anything. I'm not even.
That has prepared you for everything.
100%. It literally took me from like, let's say 10, 20 to like 150. I am not even lying.
What did a day look like as an investment banker at Citi? No, this is, I would like to know now, what was it like?
So it's a lot of Excel sheets, it's a lot of tallying data, it's a lot of micro sort of analyzing. Every single number and every single Excel has to tally and has to be right. If there is one error, the final number will change by billions.
Correct.
And you will have no idea where it's gone wrong. So it's extremely meticulous. It starts off really early. Like because Citi is a global company, it starts off with Hong Kong waking up, right?
Okay.
So it starts off early and it goes to sleep only when California goes to sleep.
Okay.
So the work is constantly happening. It's literally constantly happening. You're working with the APAC team. APAC is Asia Pacific. You're working with the European team. You're working with the LATAM team. You're working with the American team. It's everywhere. So your day tends to start off really early and where work is already piled up. By the time you've woken up and you've seen your manager sending you an email that today this is your task, you are already behind.
Achha.
At 8 a.m.
Okay.
Then you get to work, you're like, acha, theek hai, this is priority. You sort it out in your head, you sort it out with your manager, you start working. By lunchtime, you don't even know how time has gone. Literally, you don't even know. Then you take a quick lunch break, maximum 40 minutes, maybe an hour. Yeah, in the beginning, an hour was not possible because you are not that efficient. You have to kind of like get back to work and reach those deadlines. Then of course, obviously as you churn work out, eventually through the day, something always creeps up at 4 or 5 p.m. I don't know why. Who are these people who are waking up at 5 p.m. and giving more work? I want to go home. Never ends there. Of course, there are always urgent files that need to be worked on and pitch decks that need to be completed and sent because the client is coming tomorrow. And yeah, that's the analyst job.
So, as an analyst, but did they make you work on some softwares or tools for this tally and all?
Yes.
Did you work on some specific?
Yes. FactSet was a big...
What?
FactSet. So
FactSet.
F-A-C-T, fact, set, S-E-T.
Okay.
So it essentially pulls a lot of data from multiple sources, like real-time information, like stock prices and P&E ratios, and essentially everything from a 10K or 10Q can be pulled in directly to your Excel sheet. So when you're analyzing, like, let's say 10 or 20 companies ka 10 saal ka data, you don't have to work through every single sort of number. It's a lot of information, it's a lot of data dump that happens on your Excel sheet, and it can sort of work through like that.
Got it.
But yeah, a day never typically ended before 10 p.m. ever.
Yeah.
And that's a great day. Usually it ended at like 12, 1, whatever. But that is analyst life, right?
Yeah.
They do pull you through that so that you can become more efficient and so that your days later on are better.
Right.
The money is great. It's fantastic.
The money is great?
It's fantastic. I am not going to lie. The money is great.
So
it
now
makes you do that. So it makes you push through.
It makes you push through.
Yes,
I was just going to say
it
that.
does.
So if it does, now for somebody who's aspiring to do something similar to you, become an investment banker at a fancy global company, how much money can they expect to make as a fresher after doing their MBA like you did?
Wow, now that is...
on an average?
On an average, I think anywhere between 12 to 17 lakhs.
As a starting?
As a starting salary.
Which is pretty decent.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously with the bonuses and everything, and sometimes
bonuses over and above that.
Sometimes bonuses are over and above, depending on the kind of year your company has had or your particular team has had.
Correct.
But yeah, that's starting salary.
And can you just tell me, like, if you would have stuck through at Citi, what would your trajectory look like?
I wouldn't have to worry about anything.
Anything?
I'd be a crorepati by now.
See, sun lo sab karo. So,
no, okay. All jokes apart, it's a great trajectory if you can sustain that life and if you can move up the ladder. Like if you.
What does the ladder look like, and how much money can you make at the top?
Now that I wouldn't want to guess because that is not something I'm comfortable guessing about.
Sure.
Because I don't know, and
you don't know, huh?
Every other boss makes a different category of.
Maybe if you can just tell them what the trajectory would look like.
Let's say now, if you are at the back end, there is back end, middle end, and front end for investment banking.
Yeah.
Back end is just the grunt work. Middle end usually has a little bit more of involvement in the pitch decks. Front end is where you can. Where you're physically included in the meetings. That is the
client
dream.
facing.
Yes, that is client facing, and that is the dream. Where you are talking to the clients, involved in the meetings, involved in the decision making.
Right.
That is the dream. So, like, that's why I said 12 to 17. It can be anything across the board. First, second, third year, then if you get bumped up, and then you could get bumped up to manager, it can double. When you get bumped up to then VP, like AVP, VP, all of that, it keeps kind of escalating that way.
Got it.
The only thing is, now I don't want to say specifically for a particular company or whatever because I don't know. I've not been in the scene for a while.
Yeah.
But I have not seen I've seen a larger disparity of men versus women as you move to the top. Possibly because of the decisions, even what I made, right? Because I chose my mental health and my decision to essentially give more time to myself and my family than moving up the ladder.
Correct.
So possibly because of these decisions and because of the fact that it's not possible sometimes to do, there are more men at the top than women.
That I think I have noticed at my firm and most corporate companies.
Most corporate companies.
I mean, as much as you will say that there is an equitable distribution and you have a lot of women at the top, but I don't think there are.
Women at the top only when you start your own business.
Exactly. मेरे को तो नहीं दिखे भाई, मुझे नहीं दिखे. But I mean, when I would look at my bosses, my boss was a female by chance, and I was happy about it.
Same, even mine.
Yeah,
mine
was
my
first boss, my director.
Yeah.
But she was the only director who was the female in the department.
See, मेरे manager के ऊपर तो कोई था ही नहीं. They were all men.
That's for another day.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
We'll cry about that later.
Okay, but coming back.
Yes.
So when all of this happened, how did you know then that while you were so convinced that investment banking is for me, and then you clocked these hours, and obviously you pushed through the pressure. How did content creation come into all of this?
I'll tell you. So, yes, so I was efficiency level max, learnt a lot, understood that this is how
Did you
it
work
looks
with
like.
fancy clients and people also? A lot?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did, and I was very happy. Not allowed to say also, I still, because there are confidentiality issues.
Okay.
But I will try to stay away from that.
Yeah.
Essentially, I was okay with my job. I
Yeah.
would not say I was happy at my job.
Okay.
I was learning a lot. I was very happy in terms of the job itself. The corporate politics, the insane work hours, the fact that it was affecting me, like affecting my mental health, that was not for me. So that's why I said okay. And then I was very, very lucky at that point that I had, so by then I had also, between all of this, between my city career, I had also gotten married.
All of that happened.
All of that happened in those 2 years.
Okay.
So I've gotten married by now. I live I've moved out with my husband, and there's responsibility and this and that. I was very lucky at that point that my husband was doing well in his career. This is touch wood, still is.
Yeah.
But at that time, because when I was considering and contemplating this decision, my family was behind me. My husband was behind me. He's like, you know what? Maybe 5 years down the line, I may want to quit. At that time, you can't. So today you can quit, because right now I'm not quitting.
I like that.
Because I mean that's how you deal with it, right? In a family,
it's teamwork.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And we are what they call dinks, double income, no kids.
Oh wow, I like that.
Yeah, that's
double income, no kids.
Yeah, that's a phrase that I learned like yesterday, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So we're dinks as of now, and because of that, we had a decision to make, right? Only one of us could have an unstable situation where we're out of work or there is no income coming in.
Correct.
So at that time, he was incredibly supportive and family was incredibly supportive. And I was like, you know what, I will figure it out, what I want to do. And I have just taken the plunge.
Wow.
I have just quit without having a job, which is scary.
It is.
Terrifying.
Takes guts, but.
It takes guts, but it can also be really, really stupid.
I know. As a career coach, I would say. But I think, don't you also feel that because your family and specifically your husband gave you that courage, you were able to do it?
100%. Otherwise, I would not have been able to. Only because I knew that he was there
Backing
me,
you,
that I could do that.
Correct.
Otherwise, where would my rent come from? You know, it's not easy to do it.
Yeah. That too in a city like Bombay.
Exactly. It's not cheap.
It's not.
It's not cheap on a daily basis.
Talk about
not cheap. हर एक little जिसका अलग episode बनाना पड़ेगा.
I know. But then you took that decision.
Yes, I took that decision and I had no idea what I wanted to do. Clueless. I just knew that, okay, now I don't want to work in a corporate setup. I do want to do something. I was still inclined towards finance.
That clarity was
there. But I was also always intrigued with the marketing side, right? It has intrigued me since the beginning.
Since the beginning only you did it,
Since I was like 14, 15 years old. It's always intrigued me.
Yeah.
So then I started looking at what could I do. I literally have like 4 or 5 books like this, like notepads where I have written ideas of what I can do. Business ideas. This is not my first idea. This is not my first rodeo.
Okay.
It is, touch wood, luckily the first venture I properly started and it has taken off. But the ideas were at least some 800.
Business ideas?
Yeah, business ideas.
Like so you wrote them down in a book?
Yeah. They're written down in a book. I can find those books someday.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. I like written them down. Okay, 800 may be exaggerating. But 200-300 to honge, 100%. They will be really crappy ideas. Like, I don't know, sell vada pav from a stall. Like that also. But that's a business.
It's a legit business.
It's a legit business. I mean, bigger things have been done with smaller starting points.
I agree.
So yeah, and with every idea, I used to start talking about viability of the business. Like, उसमें कितना investment लगेगा? मैं कर सकती हूँ क्या? How many people will I need to start the business? What will it entail? This, that. All of that I have like written down, and then slowly been like, नहीं, ये नहीं हो सकता, वो नहीं हो सकता.
Okay.
And then finally, I stumbled onto this. Finally, by then the lockdown has hit.
March 2020 has come.
March 2020 has come. The lockdown has hit, and I'm like, okay, theek hai. Now the story I have told in the past.
How much time was this after you had quit? Like, what was the gap period where you took like a career break of sorts?
October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March, April. About
9 months?
Eight,
Okay.
9 months. About 8, 9 months.
Not a lot of time. It's
No.
decent.
Yeah. Dude, I was freaking out.
You must be- I know.
I was never jobless. I never had any, like, nothing to do the next day.
Yeah, I get it.
I was always like going from one thing to the other, and I'm like, घर पे कौन बैठता है?
I know.
So I was feeling very lost, purposeless. But through that, the lockdown happened, and then I was like, okay, more time to think. And luckily, we were having dinner with a few of our girlfriends. I was having dinner with them. The night before, Kirti had dinner with his boys at home. And I was just there because it was my house.
For reference, Kirti is her husband.
Oh yeah, sorry. Totally forgot to say.
Yes.
Just assume. No,
I
I'm
did
talking
the
to
honors.
you. I'm talking
Because
to you.
she is, we're just normally talking now. Yeah.
So Kirti had his boys over, and they were talking about, you know how boys, they like, पता है तेको ये stock ना ऐसा होगा, मेरे दोस्त ने बताया था कि ये ना चांद पे जाएगा, तो खरीद के रख and this and that. I was just listening, and then the next night, I had like a girls' dinner at home, just for fun. I asked them, and these are like accomplished women okay, in my life.
Right.
Some of my closest friends are really, really well established.
Yeah.
One is a lawyer, one is a doctor, one is like has her own ad company, all of that.
Nice.
And I asked all of them that, what do you do with your money? Like, do you invest it anywhere?
Yeah.
One said father, one said brother, one said husband. I said, oh my God, how is this happening under my
Father,
roof?
mother, as in they just give it away. They don't invest.
handle their own
money. Achha, they don't handle their own money.
They don't handle their own money. That was what they said. They're like, मुझे नहीं पता मेरा पैसा कहाँ जाता है. And I'm like, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Just unacceptable. So that is where the idea stemmed from. Because I was like, if people who are essentially my close girlfriends, who are breaking glass ceilings, they're making lakhs of rupees a month.
Correct.
They don't handle their money. Regular लोगों का तो क्या ही होगा?
Literally.
I'm like, what is this? So FinCocktail actually stemmed from that idea, that idea that I would want women to know and understand their money better. And the moment I started putting it down in my book and doing little SWOT analysis, my MBA teachers will be happy.
Yes, you have made good use of the frameworks. Good.
So the moment I started writing everything down, I started doing some research. I started getting some numbers, because obviously data.
Finance.
Data. So I also realized that it's not just women.
Yeah.
In general, financial literacy in this country is very low.
True.
Something around 27% is the last number I have heard.
Okay. Which is not very great.
No, not at all. It's very bad.
Yeah.
What is 27%? Kuch bhi. So I was like, you know what? This number needs to change. So I was like, इसमें क्या कर सकते हैं? That time lockdown था. There was no other way to do it. So I was like, social media. क्या समझ में आता है? Instagram. That is how it began.
Interestingly, you thought that social media samajh mein aata hai, Instagram is something you could relate to, and then how did you start off with the idea, and when did Niyati come on board? How did that pan out?
I mean, how I started off with the idea was just a lot of research, right? If I was going to convey to people what to do with their money, or like essentially what financial literacy entails, how do I educate them?
Yeah.
I had to be sure of the concepts myself.
Correct.
Right?
Obviously.
So the first thing I did was went on Amazon and bought like a shit ton of books on financial literacy. Read all of them. And then I kind of created a little bit of a module of what I wanted to cover for sure, which included, of course, goal setting, saving and investing, insurance, and portfolio creation. Overarching topics.
ठीक है.
And then what I realized was that because I have not been on the retail side of things, this is retail side, right?
Yeah.
Where it's people investing their own money.
Own money.
I have been on the investment banking corporate side of it. So I realized that I needed a little bit of help. And I was like, who knows this better? cut to, I realized that one of my oldest friends, I literally know her since we were 10 years old. We lived in the same building, played like Sakli together and stuff like that, okay? So it's that kind of bonding.
Yeah.
Where she was working for ASK Wealth Advisors, a very big wealth advisory firm in India.
Yeah.
And in Bombay, actually. And essentially, she had finished 3 levels of CFA. She had gone to Kingston University before that.
Oh, she's done CFA?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And that's after that, she started working for wealth advisory. Before that, she'd also done a year of investment banking with Axis, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, so she did all of that, and by the time I had started this and I approached her, she was already on her 5th or 6th year into wealth advisory, which was private banking. I was like, listen, I'm going to try to do something new. You want to come or what and join me? And she was also kind of getting bored, looking for the next thing for her and this and that. And she's like, chalo, let's do it. Yeah.
Two women.
Coming together.
Fierce. Let's do this.
It's something which is counterintuitive a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people do it you rightly said.
I mean, I have not seen a lot of women coming together to even become co-founders and be on the same page and do something like this.
Yeah.
That too, when you're saying you had obviously left your job at that time, she had a job.
Yeah.
So for her, I think to make that decision was slightly trickier.
Yeah, it was a bigger decision for her.
Yeah.
I mean, she was already on her path of leaving the job. The only thing was whether she wanted to do another job, do something for herself, work with her partner, or like what was the situation.
Correct.
I said, I'll give you third option.
New option.
New option. Her dad was not happy.
Okay.
Yeah. He was like, Instagram se paisa kaun banata hai?
Hum log. Got it.
But so then, and she obviously already was an expert on wealth advisory. She knew everything about mutual funds, portfolio management, all of that. So she brought in that expertise on board. And I, with my flair of data and in digital marketing and everything, we kind of made a very strong team.
Good complementary skills, right? I think you both complement each other well, and that is what you look for in a co-founder.
Exactly. And when you choose a co-founder, you have to make sure that a few things are done. First things first, you do not step on anybody's toes. When you look for a co-managing partner, you do not kind of blur the lines. You don't go back on anybody's judgment. You always have their back, and you definitely draw lines in the sand and divide the work. So you don't.
The role distinction has to be clear.
100%.
ABCD is your department.
100%.
This is yours.
100%. Funnily enough, we never had that discussion.
Acha, you didn't?
No, but we have our roles defined. We know that they are separate. It just happened naturally with us, which was a very surprising thing. Usually you would have a conversation, but for us it happened very naturally because we already knew what played to our own strengths. We knew that I was a little bit more on the creative scripting. I write better on that side. She always was better at doing the research, finding the technicalities, doing negotiations. Oh God, I'm so bad at it. Nobody negotiate with me, please. I'm very bad at it. And like talking to the brands, this, that. She's better at that. I am better at this. So the line in the sand kind of just drew by itself.
You played to your strengths.
Exactly. And yes, of course, we learn from each other every single day. She got better on camera. She gets better at scripting. I get better at dealing with like brands and negotiating and research and all of that. But that doesn't mean we step on each other's toes. We don't we obviously have each other's backs when we are not around. We use that. But it doesn't mean that we're going to sort of muddy the water. It's not worth it. It works well. It works very well. I'm very happy.
Great. Good. And you guys are doing very well here. I mean, I have always admired the work you do. So, great. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Now, that brings me to asking you one thing. When you create content in a field like finance, which at that time probably wasn't, I don't know the word to use, oversaturated.
I know.
but today, probably,
different
you don't know.
Conversation.
We may go out of this room and there may be a finance expert or a content creator, right?
By the time we're done with this podcast, there'll be 10 more.
10 more, right?
100%.
Exactly. Now, with that situation being there, and so many people telling you what to do with your money, which stock to invest in, what SIP to do, and all of that, I know it's very difficult to, cut through the noise and still stand out in terms of a content piece per se. What I want to understand is, how do you get those creative ideas as a finance content creator to ensure that you're not lost in that noise, Because I'm sure as a content creator, even me in my niche, there's so many people in the career niche also. All we strive to do is that somehow, mera content piece at least un sare 1000 piece mein kho na jaye. Right? So how do you take care of that? Or do you even solve for it? Or that's not a thing on your mind?
No, it is natural, right, that it comes to your mind.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that is out there, so many pieces of information floating out there. You have to have a very big sort of central idea of why you're doing this and a framework of what you will work within, which helps.
Yeah.
Like, you will never see invest in this stock, it's going to become a multi-bagger on FinCocktail's page. It's never going to happen. It's true, it's never going to happen because nobody can predict that. Nobody can tell you that very honestly. And technically, by Sebi regulations, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, we'll come to that.
Yes,
we'll come to Sebi.
We'll talk about that. But what we do is we have a core sort of value system in place.
Okay.
We know what we want to educate about. And we will constantly try to reinvent how we put the information out there. And we will try to be somebody who is credible, somebody who comes in with a lot of research, somebody who comes in who doesn't just see what is working or see ye aajkal viral ja raha hai and just do a me too after that. Not gonna happen.
I've never seen it happening with you guys.
Yeah,
never. But then how do you still ensure the creativity is intact in the reels?
So the creative process.
The process. How do you guys work?
Is very different.
Okay.
So, for example, you can always do the research and you can always have the value part of it through research and R&D done. But there is a certain amount of R&D that you have to do for creativity also. Because earlier we started off where it was just like sort of tapping the screen on where there was music playing in the background. Then slowly we built up the courage to talk on screen. Then, because dude, being in front of the camera is not easy. So, and then we also have to constantly reinvent our creativity. You have to see what's going on out there. You have to see what's working, what's not working. You have to ask your audience.
Yeah.
To ask your audience what type of creativity they appreciate, what they do not, and learn from it. There is a method to the madness. Yes, sometimes there is a creative spark and like, you're like, you know what, let's do a spoof on this or like let's do this for fun or whatever.
I remember that reel of yours now that had done so well.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one it was.
It was that Pyar Ka Panchnama.
Panchnama. The one you did with finance, man, that was bang on. How many people had shared it?
So I'm going to be very honest. I wrote that essentially.
You wrote it, right?
I wrote it. It randomly one evening, after a couple of cocktails, I was just like, this is my dil ki bhadas. And the next morning, I showed it to my husband and I showed it to Niyati. And they were like, bro, this is amazing. We got to do it.
Yeah. And you did it.
Yeah,
it was people
fun.
loved it, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite fun. It was good
very
fun. I had fun doing it.
That is creativity.
Exactly.
That is creativity.
That happens once in a while. It doesn't happen every day.
Yeah.
And creativity, the difference between being a content creator and just a content creator that sort of provides value versus maybe a comedy creator, etc. They have much more creativity involved.
Yeah.
I cannot do comedy to save my life.
Yeah.
I am in awe of them and I'm in envy of them. How do they come up with these ideas? I have no idea. But this value-driven process that we try to, create content around, it's helpful because you know that, अच्छा, इसके बारे में बात करनी है. Now there is only so much creativity if I put in like every week is okay. Then suddenly like once in 10 days there'll be a creative spark. Once in 10 days there'll be something else. So for us, the creativity is a little bit on the as it comes scenario and the value is kind of on the forefront.
And I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, for us
you don't push it. If it's not coming, it's fine.
It's not coming. Yeah.
Okay. Which is great. Wonderful. Okay. Now, I want to know that growing up, in your early years, since you came from a background of obviously your parents both being highly educated,
Hi. So much pressure.
So much pressure. I'm sure they would be, I don't know if they were talking about money or they were talking about finance, but what was your perception growing up about money because of the kind of family you came from, and what kind of conversations did you kind of bump into from time to time, and did it help you sort of get inclined towards this field, and you had certain preconceived notions about money, if any?
So I don't think it was a preconceived notion as such.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of discussions about money.
You did.
Yeah, like I remember at a very early age, we had moved to Bhopal. I don't even remember living in Bhopal. I was that young. I was like 2-3 years of age. And but I do remember when we came back from Bhopal, because so my dad had gotten transferred there, and he lost his job. So we had to move back to our grandparents' house in Bombay. That is what I remember. Like there was a sudden shift where my mom wasn't working then. I was very young, and suddenly there is no income coming in, and we are a family. I was around. So then when you have to go back to like your grandparents, and like your dad is struggling, your mom is visibly like, unsure of what tomorrow holds, then she's going out for interviews as well, because they're like, one of them has to get a job, right? It doesn't matter. The money has to come in.
Yeah.
So it started from there, but they have always been very open with me about money. They have been very frank. They've been very kind of upfront about it, that see, Sayali, this is the money that we have, and we don't have that. So if we can't go on an XYZ vacation, we cannot buy you an XYZ thing. Money is money. In Marathi, they have a saying, "Kashachahi song आणतायत, पैशाचं song नाही आणतायत," which is essentially, you can pretend to be happy, you can pretend to have friends, you can pretend to be a show off, but you cannot pretend to have money. Either you have money or you don't.
Or you don't have it.
So it really opened my eyes to how money is. Money is reality. It is, you have it or you don't. So you better plan for it.
With that, I'm going to come back to the favorite thing we were speaking about, Sebi.
Oh my God.
Now, we
Favorite.
know, favorite.
Love you, Sebi.
You all love
you,
them.
Sebi.
Yes,
love you.
all finance creators love them. No, but I mean, on a serious note, what I want to understand is, until some time ago, the talk of the town and the buzzing news was the Sebi regulations, the guidelines that they have come up with for these finance influencers. And obviously for people who are living under the rock and don't know about this, it'll be great if you can explain this entire Sebi situation to them, and how is it going to impact, or how is it affected or not affected finance influencers, and what are they expected to do? So, why is it such a big deal?
So I'll tell you very honestly, it's such a big deal because Sebi realized that there are so many financial influencers suddenly that have kind of burst out into this space. These regulations are not new. These have been there for eons.
Okay.
The difference is that Sebi realized that they were being ignored by these financial influencers. Essentially, if you are not a registered investment advisor, RIA, or if you are not an IRDAI certified, which is for the insurance bit, you cannot be going out there and saying that everybody buy this stock, everybody buy this mutual fund. You cannot do it.
But people were doing it.
Yes. And people are still doing it.
Okay.
And which is why a lot of these financial influencers who went out there and made a lot of money out of these stock tips through their Telegram channels, or multi-bagger tips, or mutual fund tips and this and that. If you go out and make a blanket statement that this is what you should buy, it is regulatorily incorrect. It is not allowed. You are not allowed to do it unless you are a registered investment advisor. And even if you are one, you cannot make a blanket statement for everybody, because it does not apply to everybody. Your financial situation is different. My financial situation is different. You and I need different advice. Nobody is made the same, and nobody has the same background. If one person, let's take two people who are in the same job, okay? For example, if two people are working at a corporate in the marketing team, both men, okay, for the sake of simplicity, both men working in the same corporate at the same level of seniority in a marketing firm, both of them will have different portfolios.
Yeah.
Because one of them, for example, has come from, let's say, Lucknow or Raipur and is living in Bombay on rent, has to send money home because family is dependent on them, has lost his father, has young sisters to educate, etc. The other one has always lived in Bombay, doesn't have to pay rent because he lives with his parents and has zero responsibility. How will they have the same decision to make about their money?
Right.
And I'm talking about two people who are in the same technical lifestyle zone, right?
But
they're
still,
not.
yeah,
they're not. So you cannot make blanket advice to anybody.
Correct.
So, in general, these rules that they are sort of, let's say, exercising now, have always been around. You can't be, essentially, the basic rule is that you cannot take money for giving advice unless you are registered, which is fair, correct? Which is a Sebi rule that has been around for a while.
Are there implications if you don't follow it?
Yes, you can be, there is a penalty, like a monetary penalty. And I'm not sure about legality.
Okay.
Jail-wise, I don't know, but potential, depending on the kind of
because
it could be considered a fraud or a scam, right?
Yeah, correct.
Because if you're not registered, you're not allowed to give advice.
Got it. So, is it also what I'm trying to understand is, but in no way does it stop finance content creators from promoting or advocating for a brand? Or that will also have
as long as you are disclosing it, it is fine.
Acha.
As long as
hashtag ad and all of that.
Yes, as long as you're disclosing it,
it's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
So they've mentioned this, as long as they're adhering to the ASCI regulations.
ASCII wala.
Yeah, where you have hashtag ad, hashtag promotion, and you have that paid promotion tag on Instagram or on YouTube. All these facilities are there. You just need
they're
to
there
use
for a reason.
Exactly, they're there for a reason.
Obviously.
So you should kind of adhere to them.
Adhere to them.
Yes. And don't get me wrong, I'm saying that, yes, even if, for example, if I say that these are the 5 mutual funds that have done well in the last 5 years, and I give a massive explanation of why I have chosen these based on this criteria, or if I make a YouTube video about the funds in 2024,
that
which people should look at.
Yeah.
Just look at. I'm not saying that this is what everybody should invest in.
Correct.
I'm saying that this is my criteria and walk them through my thought process. That is okay because that is still literacy. That is still financial literacy. There's a difference between financial literacy and financial advice.
Yeah.
That is where the Sebi regulations come in.
Got it. Makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. I think that was very important. So we spoke about how you and Niyati came together, became co-founders, and now obviously you have established FinCocktail, and it is what it is today. I don't want to go into the depths of it, but I want to understand, what does FinCocktail as a company have to offer in general, and what kind of services do you have to offer? What all do you do with FinCocktail?
So first and foremost, obviously content creation. We create content across a lot of platforms. Secondly, we host a lot of seminars, webinars.
Okay.
Again, on the same financial literacy side.
You do this online and offline?
Both.
Nice.
So we're either approached by corporates from their HR, etc.,
right,
or universities, etc. So we work with both types of scenarios. And last but not least, we also have one-on-one consultations where, again, it's not, we're not going to give you stock tips. It's not advice. It's just, if you are confused about what financial literacy is, we can create a module for you and kind of walk you through it.
Okay.
We have hosted batches which are as small as 5 people, spoken to people one-on-one, helping them understand what, I don't know, what is a ULIP plan? What is, what is the difference between life insurance and term insurance? So there's a lot of confusion out there because there's so many big terms out there. So we kind of try to...
So anything related to personal finance and financial literacy, you provide one-to-one consultation calls as well. That's great. Very interesting. Now, since you spoke about the content creation side, and I know you've been doing it for a while, I want to understand that when you are creating content and you're scripting, and I've done collaboration reels with you as well, and I know you do have a script and a process in place.
I do.
Sayali always has everything in place in a doc. So
there are lots of documents and there are lots of Excel sheets.
I know.
This is city backlog in my head.
I understand. And then with finance comes research, comes numbers, and so many things that you have to cross-check, right? You have to keep it in place.
Yeah.
How does storytelling fit into all of this in the content creation process? How do you make sure that there's a story that's going out there with each, if not with each piece, but people understand what you stand for? Again, not only from the creative side. I feel storytelling as a content creator is something you do by default.
Yeah.
Most of us may not want to acknowledge it or push it there, but we are storytellers.
Yeah, we are.
Right?
Yeah.
So, how does the storytelling piece fit into this?
I think it kind of comes naturally to me a little bit. I've always been a fan of stories, books. You will be appalled at how many books I have read.
You're an avid reader?
Yeah, massively.
See, we have a background that suits you.
I know. That's why I love
it. Great.
And you will be shocked at how many fiction books I read.
Okay.
I'm just a mad daydreamer and like love it. So I think it comes a little bit naturally to me. Also, if you don't tell a story, nobody's interested. So you kind of are forced to do it. So you just have to kind of weave in the information that you have into a nice story so people follow it and understand it.
Got it. Makes sense. Interestingly, I want to also understand, since we spoke about your relationship with money, what you thought of it, and I think you were very brutally honest with what you thought about it. Today, what does Sayali do with her money? In the sense, how do you manage it? If you invested, where do you invest it? I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
And would you like to also share with the audience a few mistakes that you made with your money and your personal finance early on?
Okay. When I was young, I was like first few jobs, etc. The biggest mistake I made was spending it all.
Spend all the money.
Yeah, I spent. It's like, oh my God, look, 15,000 bucks. Let's go. Take friends out for dinner party.
Very interesting. Not a good idea.
Worst idea on the planet. But it's my mistake to make, right? Luckily, I came from a background of privilege where I could do that. But not
many people will not say that also on camera.
I mean, I have to
but
be
I
honest.
mean, you agreeing to it in itself is a big thing.
I have to be honest, right?
Yeah,
I am who I am. I have seen like my dad lose a job. I have also seen my dad buy a new house. So I've seen it all. And I am not going to lie, I have come from privilege. So I had the option to make that mistake. A lot of people do not have that but still make that mistake. But I quickly learned because then my mommy didn't give me any money after that. My mom was like, your paycheck is going into investing. You are not spending anything. Okay. So yeah, so that was where I started understanding that, you know what, I need to understand where money, how money grows, where it goes, etc. I manage my money myself now. I invest 90% of it is in mutual funds. I do not think I have the bandwidth or the energy or the patience to research specific stocks. And I'm not a trader. Okay. So I don't invest a lot in individual stocks. 90% in mutual funds, lots of gold because I love investing in SGBs.
Sovereign gold bonds.
Superb investment. Nice. Superb. I love it. And it's a good sort of balance, right? Because you exposed to the market and then gold is also there to balance. And now this is very new, but I'm trying to figure out how to invest in private equity. Oh. I know it's a big ask. I know that I said that I don't have the bandwidth to research individual stocks. In researching PE takes a lot more. But I think that is very intriguing to me because you are getting in on the ground level, you are understanding the founder, you are understanding the business model, you are understanding the company in and out. So a little bit of the investment banking thing kicks in over there. So I'm trying to get into that space as well.
Interesting, very interesting. Yeah. I like that. Any kind of investment you're doing in real estate and stuff?
Are you? I'm a homeowner.
But you have a home. Oh, guys.
Real estate.
She already has a home. और क्या करेंगी वो? उनका घर है.
और क्या करूँ? बच्चे की जान लोगे?
नहीं और भी कर सकते हो.
फिलहाल के लिए तो बॉम्बे में घर ले लिया मैं तो मतलब गंगा नहा लिया.
बस गंगा ही नहा लिया. Literally, I swear. Okay. Today's episode is brought to you by Dhan, a game changer in the world of investing. Whether you are a seasoned trader or a long-term investor, Dhan has got you covered. Lightning fast, tech-driven, and loaded with industry-first insights, Dhan is built for super traders and those in it for the long term. Now that mutual funds is live on Dhan, you get to invest in 40 plus AMCs, discover consistent outperformers, find top-rated funds by Morningstar, and also track and invest in high-performing stocks connected to your mutual funds. The best part, zero fees and commission forever. Start your investment journey with Dhan today. Download the app using the referral link in the description below. With that, I don't want to make it very philosophical, but I ask this one question to every, guest we have over.
Okay.
Because whenever I ask somebody, how do you define success? It's this, it's a very stereotypical question to ask, but the way the guest answers it tells me a lot about their personality.
Oh, really?
So
I get different answers every time?
I have got different answers, at least so far.
Nice.
And everybody has not defined it in a stereotypical fashion, which I've liked. So how does Sayali define success today, career-wise and personally?
Because now I'm going to tell a story. Picture this. After a long, productive Friday, Sayali is sitting on her couch of her very well-lit 4-bedroom house looking over the sea in Mumbai. And her dog is just, walking around. She picks up a book. She's at peace. She expects guests over in a couple of hours, but she has a couple of hours to chill. Her husband's just going to come back from work in about half an hour-ish, so she takes this time to have a nice chill glass of water, read a book, and just peacefully just wait.
That is success. Beautiful. Never heard this answer, and I don't think I can get this answer from anywhere else.
Because think about it, right? My house is sorted, my husband is healthy and fine, I'm at peace, that means everybody in my family is healthy and fine. I've had a long productive day on a Friday, that means I'm okay to take the weekend off. My dog is around. What
else do you need?
See, now I've not thought of kids yet, so then maybe.
Maybe. They'll also be there in
my point is the definition of success can keep changing as well. This would have been a very different answer if you asked 18-year-old Sayali. She would not have imagined sitting here and talking to you in front of cameras. But that changed, and she's very happy about it.
So this could also change.
100%. Yeah, it could.
As of now, this is what
house is just going to get bigger, and dogs are just going to get more in number. Maybe kids will come, but this is going to be there.
Got it.
Books will increase in number.
Love it. Love the answer. I think this is the most picturesque, visually pleasing answer I've got. I have made the story in my head. Great.
Thanks.
With that, Sayali, I'd like to know from you, for the audience who's tuned in, and since
hi, there you
yes,
are.
hi everybody, in case we missed you. But I want to understand, when we talk about financial literacy, personal finance, these are terms that are used left, right, center by people now.
Yeah.
Okay? Just not as an advice, according to whatever mistakes you've made and whatever you've learned from them. What are 3 things that you think personal finance wise or financial literacy wise people should just keep in mind, before they start their personal finance journey?
I wouldn't say before they start it or during, but wherever they are in their journey.
Okay.
3 things to keep in mind. Number 1, always save and invest first. Priority should be saving and investing. बाकी सब बाद में आ सकता है. Insurance is extremely important for your entire family. Medical insurance for your entire family. If you haven't done it yet, do it like yesterday. Do it now. And last but not least, I would say, keep learning. No matter how much advice you get or how much you trust your advisor, only you are going to benefit from that investment, and only you know what is right for you eventually. So keep learning, keep understanding where you are investing your money. Even if you have an advisor who's been around for 20 years and who gives you the best advice, understand from him where your money is going. Because it's your money, na, finally. Usko whatever commission mil raha hai, he's making business or he is trustworthy. Yes, great. But that doesn't mean your money is going to benefit anybody else. It's yours.
Makes sense.
Thanks.
Great. Perfect. Noted down, guys. And very interestingly, not a lot of people know, but Sayali is also starting her own podcast, guys, and you'll get to know about it very soon. So
listen to that also.
yeah, listen
please.
to that also. Do listen to it, and you'll spot me also there.
Yes.
So yeah, zarur dekhna.
It's called cross
Crossovers.
promotion.
Yeah, promotions. So, on that note, I want to understand when you look into the future, everybody has certain aspirations,
Yes.
dreams, certain goals.
Yes.
I'm not just asking you personal, life-wise or career-wise, in general, apart from the content creation and podcasting and everything that's going on with FinCocktail, what are you really looking forward to in the future? Things that you're excited about, you're motivated to work towards, if you are comfortable sharing any.
Okay, I'm gonna try to say some things but not give too much away.
Sure.
I am trying, I wouldn't say I'm trying,
Yeah.
but I'm working towards building more than just FinCocktail.
Got it.
So hopefully in the next year, I'm manifesting it right here, that there will be one more business that has my name on it.
Oh, wow. We are all manifesting it.
Thank you.
It'll come to life very soon.
Thank you.
All the very best.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to segue into the rapid fire segment.
Nice.
Chill, candid, first thought that comes to your mind or the first sentence that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's start the rapid fire round with Sayali. What is one of your silliest financial mistakes that you've ever made, apart from the one that you've already stated?
Oh, apart from that. Giving money to a friend as a loan.
Okay.
That friend also doesn't exist and that loan also doesn't exist.
Was it a huge amount?
Not big, but it was big for me
For you
back then. Yeah. Not fun.
Okay. Next, if you had to pick one financial term to explain to a 5-year-old, what would it be and how would you simplify it for him or her?
Emergency fund. So in case you ever need money in an emergency and your mom and dad are not around, you have that little piggy bank, right? You can always use it. That's an
Interesting.
Thanks.
Great. What's the most impactful financial lesson you have ever learned and how has it influenced your life?
The most impactful financial lesson that I've ever learned is actually patience. Through your investment journey, there will be lots of days and lots of noise out there. Having patience through all of that is very difficult. And learning patience through all of that has also helped me learn patience in real life. Because business is also upar niche, life in general is upar niche. So patience you have to have, I think, in general. And finance has taught me that.
Great. चलो next one is interesting. कितना पैसा कमाने के बाद लगेगा कि अब retire हो जाना चाहिए? What is your fire number, if there is any?
None.
There's no fire number.
मैं तो 80 पे भी काम करूँगी भाई. I just sit without doing anything. I'll go mad.
But there's no number that where you will feel okay.
But it's money, na. It's never enough. You will always want more. Million हो गया तो billion चाहिए.
सच बोला है तो I swear. ठीक है, good.
I was told to be brutally honest, guys.
Please be. Next one.
Yes.
What is the one financial myth you would like to debunk?
That I think this is the latest myth that renting is better than buying in terms of real estate. Okay, renting may be better than buying in like on an Excel sheet or because of a few calculations, but you cannot forget that again, blanket statements for everybody does not work. Real estate
Each to its own.
To each their own. Exactly.
ठीक है. Okay. In 3 words, what's your quick tip for maintaining financial wellness?
Financial wellness. Okay. 3 words you said.
3 words.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll give you 5, chalo.
Okay, this is very difficult. No, I'll use 3.
Okay.
Always be prepared.
Nice. Very nice. Great. What is one of the most expensive things you have ever bought?
मेरा घर.
ठीक है, इनका घर. उससे महंगा तो I think कुछ होगा ही नहीं बॉम्बे में, I swear. What is one of the most silliest things that you have ever bought जिसे खरीदने के तुरंत बाद you thought कि इससे अच्छा तो मैं पैसे को आग लगा देती? Regretted a purchase maybe.
I mean, it was not.
She
it was
wants
not
to say
something-
it.
Yeah, I do want to say it, but I don't want to jinx it. It was not really a purchase that I made. But my husband, I mean, I think of my husband and my money as our money. So कोई भी खर्चा करे, खर्चा तो हो रहा है. But he essentially got me an iPad as a gift. And I was like, but
It was not.
why? I mean, I also wanted it for a while, but I was like, why? Why did I want it? There's no point.
Got it.
Because you have a laptop, you have a phone, you don't
Necessarily need
it's
it.
like but it's fine, it is what
Okay.
it is. Now I
कोई
can
बात
watch
नहीं, अब तो-
Netflix on a big screen when I'm traveling. How
Yes,
does that
good.
help? Nobody
Wonderful. No, but it is helpful. Just say that.
Yeah, it is.
Say that.
Very helpful. Very helpful. Thank you very much, Lord.
Yes. Now, last question for your rapid fire. If people could master only one skill in life, which one would you recommend them to master and why?
I would say communication. Because through communication, you can build a network. Through communication, you can crack interviews. Through communication, you can learn things, whatever you are lacking in of wherever else. Through communication, you can maintain relationships. Through communication, you can be essentially prepared on all aspects in life, including your personal and your professional. So I think communication.
I agree. Bang on. Yes. Perfect. And with that, I'd like to thank Sayali for taking out the time, coming over. This was a very, very fun, informative, and I think brutally honest episode that I had.
I was going for brutally honest.
Yeah, no, I really like the fact that you were just out there, right? Whatever it was, you said it to the face. There was nothing that was toned down or diluted in any way. And I hope all of you find a lot of value out of this episode. We will be linking down all of FinCocktail's social links in the description. Do check them out. Do check out her podcast. And that's all for today's episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Dhairya Decodes channel. I will see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so fun.
Thank you.